Hello and a warm welcome to another fresh episode of Keeping It Real by Housing.com. I'm your host, Gaurav Chaudhary. We bring this episode from a very picturesque part of India, the Northeast India. This episode, we are having it here in Guwahati, the state capital of Assam. But it's not just the state capital of Assam, it's also the gateway to Northeast India. And this can also be seen by the importance that the government has been underscoring through its Look East policy. The multiplier effects of infrastructure, connectivity, and of course, a booming economy in the broader Indian economy is all reflecting in Guwahati too. One of the most visible signs of people spending and their ability to spend can also be seen in the skyline and of course, in the way people are buying houses. And it's not just about buying houses to stay. It's also about investment. It's also about ready to move in, and it's also about developers. Guwahati, which has been in a makeover mode for the last decade or so, has something for everyone so far as real estate is concerned. If you're an investor, real estate is now a very attractive asset class in Guwahati. If you're a ready to move in consumer or a potential consumer, there are plenty of options here. And if you're a developer, if you're a real estate developer willing to invest in new project, Guwahati, of course, is the place to be. So what better way than try to understand what's happening in the city and in the adjoining areas to speak to someone who tracks this like the back of his palm. I'm delighted to have Mr. Sachin Agarwal, founder of A2Z Flats, who knows this area and tracks it and have been tracking it for nearly 1.5 decades now. Welcome to the show, Sachin. Delighted to have you here.
Thank you, Gauravji.
You know, Sachin, one of the things that we always wanted to know, and the best way to find out which way the real estate market moving is to actually try and see the trends in the price patterns. How do you see this happening in India? Because if you speak to anyone in Guwahati or anyone who's trying to, looking to invest or buy a house in Guwahati, the common question or the common phrase that people say that prices are rising. What does it tell you about the real estate market in Guwahati?
See, Gauravji, Guwahati is booming nowadays. जो गुवाहाटी का रियल एस्टेट मार्केट है वो इतने अच्छे से डेवलप हो रहा है ड्यू टू सम फैक्टर्स, जो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलपमेंट है, हॉस्पिटल्स है, स्कूल्स है, बहुत बड़े बड़े बिग ब्रांड्स जो हॉस्पिटल्स के, स्कूल्स के वो गुवाहाटी में सेटअप कर रहे हैं और काफ़ी और भी ब्रांड्स है जो आ रहे हैं, पाइपलाइन में है। तो और रही बात गुवाहाटी की, नॉर्थ ईस्ट का मेन सेंटर है, तो मुझे जो फील होता है 13 सालों में कि हर एक को गुवाहाटी में घर चाहिए, वो छोटा हो, 1 BHK हो, 2 BHK हो, चाहे लग्जरी हो।
बिल्कुल।
और गुवाहाटी अभी लग्जरी के तरफ भी बहुत ज़्यादा जा रहा है, मतलब अफोर्डेबल हाउसिंग भी पूरा है और आपका लग्जरी जो अपार्टमेंट्स है विथ ऑल एमिनिटीज उसका भी काफ़ी डिमांड है।
Absolutely. You put it really well. There's something for everyone in the Guwahati market. So far as the price bracket is concerned, so depending on which income strata you come from and depending on which price bracket you're looking for, there's something available in Guwahati, which is a good thing. It also tells you about the prospects of the broader economy in Guwahati, because whenever you buy a house, it is not just about your current income, because most houses are bought on loans. So it's also about how confident you're feeling about your ability to finance a house or an asset over a 10 to 15 year period, which seems to be the standard case across most house buying, particularly in the residential house buying in India. That brings me to the next question. Is Guwahati a buyer's market, and is it developing as a buyer's market now?
Definitely Guwahati is developing as a buyer's market because demand is high. गुवाहाटी में जितनी इन्वेंटरी है उससे ज़्यादा डिमांड है कहीं ना कहीं, तो इसके लिए इन्वेस्टर के लिए भी एक बहुत बड़ा अट्रैक्टिव पॉइंट है हमारे यहाँ पे। सो वी वेलकम इन्वेस्टर्स ऑल्सो कि उनको एक अच्छा रिटर्न मिल जाए, 2 साल 3 साल में अगर वो यहाँ से एग्जिट करते हैं तो उनको एक अच्छा रिटर्न मिल जाए। तो अब भी आप देखो हमारे यहाँ पे जितने भी प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं, हमारे जो प्रोजेक्ट्स में मार्केटिंग कर रहा हूँ वहाँ पे ऑलमोस्ट हमारा मैक्सिमम इन्वेंटरी 1.5 ईयर में निकल जाता है, मतलब 70-80% 1.5 ईयर में निकल रहा है, तो इट्स अ ग्रेट सक्सेस।
Absolutely. So there are no built-up inventories, which means that compared to say some other parts of India, particularly you always hear about stories that there are lots of unsold inventories in many parts of India, and that probably has turned it into a seller's market, turned it into a buyer's market. It's not really the case in Guwahati, but Guwahati is a buyer's market for a completely different reason, because there, as you said, there is more demand. So higher demand clearly is a sign of rising income. Coming to your own a line of business, A2Z Flats, you are involved in projects in many areas in Guwahati. If you can just run it down, particularly in premium locations like, say, Khanapara and Jalukbari, which are the new micro markets that you see developing in Guwahati over the next 10 years or so?
See, the center of Guwahati is almost filled up, and the land parcel are not too much big. So main reason is that. और जो स्ट्रेच है हमारा खानापाड़ा से जो ये हाईवे है NH37 खानापाड़ा टू धारापुर, जहाँ पे हमारा इंटरनेशनल एयरपोर्ट है और एक नया इंटरनेशनल एयरपोर्ट और डेवलप हो रहा है, आपने देखा होगा। तो ये इस स्ट्रेच में हमारे पास काफी लैंड पार्सल है।
करेक्ट।
और अभी रिसेंटली जो गवर्नमेंट का जो डेवलपमेंट है तो काफी अच्छा हो गया। तो पहले जैसे मैं अगर खानापाड़ा से एयरपोर्ट जाता था तो मुझे ऑलमोस्ट 1 घंटा लगता था। अभी मैं अगर ठीक ठाक स्पीड में जाऊं तो 15 से 20 मिनट में मैं पहुंच जाता हूं। तो दैट इज द मेन रीजन।
So the development of infrastructure has actually helped the growth of the real estate industry, because, and coming as it does at a time when people are you buying more houses to reflect rising incomes and affordability. But if I were to ask you, who is your target audience? Which class of consumers are you attracting or trying to attract in your projects that you are engaged in?
See, Gaurav ji, in my last 14 years, in March, our 14th anniversary will be there. So, we have deal with maximum salaried class, the government employees.
Right.
So, they are our esteemed clients and focus.
And there is enough demand from the salaried class and the government employees in Guwahati. Is the demand coming only from within the city and the periphery of Guwahati, or do you see demand for houses also coming in from outside Guwahati, towns and cities outside Guwahati, and also other parts of Northeast?
Definitely, we are getting, in fact, we are getting inquiry of NRI clients also.
Oh,
who are from Guwahati, Northeast, and they are residing outside India. तो वो भी हमें कांटेक्ट करते हैं, हम उनको भी प्रॉपर्टीज वगैरह डिटेल्स देते हैं, तो वहाँ से भी हमारा बुकिंग्स आता है।
तो किस टाइप की घर डिमांड पे है? What type of flats are NRIs demanding in Guwahati? Are these very premium kind of properties?
Definitely, क्योंकि मुझे लगता है उनका बाइंग पावर थोड़ा हाई रहता है, तो एक पॉइंट है। तो उनकी अच्छी प्रॉपर्टी विद गुड फैसिलिटीज एंड एमिनिटीज, तो डेफिनेटली उनका एक फर्स्ट प्रेफरेंस रहता है।
And if you could just give me an idea of the kind of or the volume of work that you are currently engaged in terms of square feet area, how many lakhs or millions of square feet are you currently at various stages of development so far as your line of business is concerned?
See, in highway, I have spoken to one of a well-known architect of Guwahati. So he told me that Sachin, around more than 10 lakh square feet is under planning.
So that's about 1 million square feet is under planning, various stages of planning.
Yes.
And how long will it be, when can we see all of these getting commissions and executed? If you're talking about 1 million square feet of extra residential space only on one stretch of the highway, that's a huge amount of, a large number of houses that are properties that are going to be built. If there are other channel partners like you also probably involved in similar?
Yes.
And the demand is across all classes of apartments, from affordable to premium to luxury. Is the demand more or less the similar?
See, अफोर्डेबल हाउसिंग का डिमांड तो हमेशा रहेगा, क्योंकि जिनके पास घर ही नहीं है तो उनको एक घर चाहिए, तो प्रीमियम की बात नहीं करते हैं, उनको एक घर चाहिए, अपना खुद का घर चाहिए। और रहा बात लग्जरी सेगमेंट में, अभी लास्ट 2-3 सालों में मैंने देखा है गुवाहाटी में वो प्रीमियम एक सेगमेंट का काफ़ी अट्रैक्शन आया है। लोग पहले, मुझे जितना ध्यान में है कि आपका 2 BHK अराउंड 900 स्क्वायर फीट का एक फ्लैट होने से चलता था, 3 BHK अराउंड 1200-1300 होने से चलता था। नाउ डेज दे आर आस्किंग फॉर 2 BHK अराउंड 1200-1250, and for 3 BHK they are asking 1600-1700 square feet. So luxury segment आ गया है काफी।
So yesterday's affordable is becoming yesterday's luxury is becoming today's affordable. So people are demanding extra space.
Yes.
How do you see? There's also this question of affordability. How do you define affordability in a market like Guwahati? What is the price bracket?
Price bracket is around, if you go for a 2 BHK, then I think 40 lakh rupees, 42 lakh rupees is the starting price of a good 2 BHK in a good society with a bit amenities. and for 3 BHK around 60 lakh rupees, around 55 to 60 lakh rupees.
Finally, Sachin, the big question is that if you want the government to do something more to facilitate, or trigger or enable better growth of the real estate industry in India, what is it that you would like the government to do, both in terms of policy and regulation and other areas?
See, government is doing, as per my knowledge, government is doing great job. Because before around 10 साल पहले आप देखना कोई खास डेवलपमेंट नहीं था गुवाहाटी में. तो नाउडेज अभी एक फ्लाईओवर काफ़ी बन रहा है, तो उसका एक चल रहा है, प्लस ड्रेनेज वगैरह सिस्टम हो गया, वाटर सप्लाई हो गया, तो ये सब में काफ़ी काम कर रहे हैं गवर्नमेंट. थोड़ा टाइम लगता है, कभी टाइमलाइन इधर उधर होता है, वो मुझे समझ में आता है.
Right.
तो वो एक बहुत बड़ा फैक्टर है कि नॉर्थ ईस्ट से लोग गुवाहाटी आना चाहते हैं. वो एक भी एक रीज़न है कि डेवलपमेंट है, जो फैसिलिटीज़ है, हॉस्पिटल, स्कूल्स, कॉलेज, अगेन मैं उस बात पे आ रहा हूँ. तो वो जो गुवाहाटी में मिल रहा है वो बाकी एरियाज में नहीं है, लोकेशंस.
Absolutely. It's for good reason that Guwahati is called as the gateway to the Northeast India. Thank you so much, Sachin, for taking the time out and dropping by to have this conversation with us and sharing your deep insights and perspectives. Always a pleasure to learn about these from an expert like you. That's it from us for this episode of Keeping It Real by Housing.com. We shall be back again with a fresh episode with information and insight on the real estate industry in India. This is Keeping It Real by Housing.com, where we keep it real always, whether you're a pro or a beginner. This is the destination that you need to be to get information and everything else associated with the real estate industry in India. You can catch the episode on Housing.com, on the Housing.com app, on the YouTube channel of Housing.com, on Earshot.in, on Spotify.com, on YT Music, on JioSaavn, and a host of other podcast streaming platforms and directories. Take care and stay safe.